Something that's been bugging me recently is about gaming today. I've been gaming for a very long time. I'm in my early 30s, but since I'm a kid, I've been gaming. And today, it just doesn't feel right anymore to me. It's not the graphics, it's not the performance. It's the fact that we just don't own our games anymore. And the older I get, the more I miss the days when gaming felt permanent. And I'm sure that's normal. You know, as you get older, you lament on your older days. You know, I guess how easy your life was and all that. But just looking at my Steam library, and I was talking to my brother, who's also on the channel. Hello, Brent, if you're listening. I'm the better brother, obviously. I was talking to him, and I found that you could go into your Steam account and see how much you've spent. Now, I have had my Steam account for a long time, but I've spent a good amount of money on that. And that got me thinking, if Steam disappeared tomorrow, gone, you know, service went down, company folded, even if my account was just banned, my account got deleted, you know, they're all gone. I don't own those games. Even though I'm paying full price for them, so it feels like it's a subscription model for it. They're just poof, gone. See you later. There's no shelf, there's no discs, there's no backups, just licenses, permissions, and access that can be revoked. You know, to me, that's not ownership. That's just like renting. It's subscription based. As I said, you know, looking back at the older games, I do miss it. You know, when you bought the game, you know, when you installed it, it was yours. There was no launcher updates. There was no online checks. No, you must be connected to single player, which, come on, that we all know that's ridiculous. If your internet went down, the game still worked. If a company shut down, the game still didn't need permission to exist. Still to this day, doesn't need permission to this. I can play a Nintendo 64 game today. I can play an original Xbox game, 360 game today. Without it being connected to the internet, I can play these things. Now, bringing up the 360, that to me was the sweet spot of gaming. And I'm so glad I was a part of that. I'm sure a lot of you were a part of that as well. But the 360 era just was the perfect balance. You had the physical discs, you could lend games to your mates. That was just so good, especially, you know, when in school and that, you know, oh, hey, like, oh, can I borrow your Left 4 Dead? I've yet to play it. Yeah, I've just finished it. Here's the Left 4 Dead. Oh, but I know you've got Gears of War 2. Can I have Gears 2? Yep, no problem. Lending them out. It was just such a great system. And it wasn't so much, oh, you know, I'm not having to buy this game. Haha, you know, F you company. It was very much just, you're young, you know, you don't want to spend all that money. There's only so much allowance you get. So it was nice that you could rely on your mates that, okay, you get that game, I get this game. It was great. Even trade-ins. Yes, there is those memes where you've got 4 consoles and 100 games and, you know, they'll give you $4 for it. But it still helped. New game was coming out, or if you needed a controller or something and you just looked in your library or, you know, your physical discs and you went, I'm not going to play these 6 games anymore. I promise I won't play Agakura anymore. I will trade that in. And you could trade it in. And then on top of that, you know, pre-owned games. People could go and pre-own games. People could go and rent video games if they wanted to. When Video Easy was around, or even your Blockbusters, you could rent video games that were coming out. They sometimes had new releases. You know, it was just more affordable. But you also had with the 360 digital convenience if you want. Now, you know, you don't really. It's getting to the point where you're not going to have a choice. Steam Machine, I highly doubt will come with it. They're already bringing out PlayStations and Xbox without disc drive. To me, it doesn't feel like we upgraded. It just feels like that we compromised. Even if you go into movies, you know, Blu-rays and DVDs. Blu-rays and DVDs have a much better quality, or especially Blu-rays, than streaming does. Some of the streaming, especially like people complain about the end of Game of Thrones. Holy moly, you know, every scene is super dark and you just see all these different colors of grey and black. It was horrible. Great example was years and years ago for me to watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The only way I could watch it is if I bought it on YouTube. So I bought seasons on YouTube, not that cheap I might add. And then all of a sudden, all these episodes went. It was mostly when they did blackface or when Dee did her impressions. Whenever those came up, all of a sudden it was just YouTube or Google going, our values changed, you can't watch those episodes anymore. I didn't get refunded for it. You know, how does that work? Do they, because I could buy it per episode if I wanted to. They just go, no, you just don't get it anymore. You know, 1 month they're there, next month they're gone, or they're edited, or they're censored, or they're locked behind another subscription. I can't watch it on Netflix, I gotta watch it on. Again, it's access, not ownership. Look, I'm sure, and I'm in the same boat, it's very convenient. It is. Not owning all these subscription services, that's not convenient. It is convenient that, you don't have to go to the store, but convenience always comes at a cost. When companies control access, they control what versions exist, when you can play, whether you can play at all. And then preservation dies, history dies, and eventually the consumer choice dies with it. I don't think gaming is worse today, but I think it's colder, it's more temporary, it's less personal. Games used to feel like things you own, memories you could physically point to on a shelf. Now they're like bookmarks on a server is what they are, and you can't relate to that. I'm not saying digital games shouldn't exist. Like, as I said, I've got a lot of them and it is convenient. I'm saying that physical media shouldn't have been abandoned, because when everything is digital, nothing is truly yours anymore. And I don't like that. I particularly don't like that. And maybe that's why gaming today feels different. Not worse, just less permanent. And maybe that's why gaming just feels so different to me today. As I said, not worse, it's just less permanent. Hey, look, let me know what you think. Are you going to say go back into your retirement home, old man? Old man yells at clouds again. Or do you miss physical media too? Do you miss it? Do you miss going to your local shopping centre, having some relationship with your EB Games or your GameStop or, your local electronics store, your JB Hi-Fi? Do you miss going there, getting the pre-order at school? Can't wait to go to the shopping centre and grab my game. Do you miss that? Or, am I just an old man these days shouting, get off my lawn, you damn dirty kid? Because honestly, I don't think nostalgia is the problem. I think we gave up something without realising. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. As always, I love you all. Just had to talk about this as it was on my mind. And I think it's a very important thing to do. As I said, love you all. Bye.